Thank you so much, Jan, for joining me. I've got a few questions for you. A recent report showed that 43% of pharma executives had no real confidence in their CLM or CRM implementations. Now, given the importance, as we're seeing at the moment, of the customer-centric way of thinking, what do you think is missing there in that equation?
My immediate take on that would be that they probably don't get the insights they should be getting from their CLM implementation to really leverage that insight to deliver more customer centricity. I think we've seen a lot of CLM implementations, and you and I go a long way back, and we've seen many examples of implementations that look good, but probably don't leverage the amount of information and insights they can get back from CLM. So that would be my initial take, because the examples are out there where things have been done extremely well, and they're getting the insights and using that to further advance customer centricity, but also in the end the ROI from CLM.
So has CLM really been CLM, or have we really been missing that feedback?
Well, that's kind of hidden in my comments, if you like. It hasn't really been a proper CLM in many cases, unfortunately. But the industry is really picking up on this now. They're really seeing that they need to apply an element of science to what they do within CLM and drive it forward that way. So there's a real shift happening at the moment. And of course, we see this now going across multiple channels, not just the tablet-based detailed channel CLM traditionally was associated with. What we're now seeing is going across many channels where they're hooking up the interactions, understand what's happening, really orchestrate all of the interactions to ultimately deliver a very customer-centric interaction.
Well, I think we can all understand what the benefits of that full loop actually are. But what really can data and analytics do for a pharma company looking beyond the customer-centric thing? You know, so years from now, the fully input-output data experience company, what advantages will that have?
It will have ultimately the advantage of being of having the competitive edge for companies who do that well. So obtaining the ultimate insights from customers, really almost at a one-to-one level, understand what their preferences are, behavior are, and also how they operate in their network and how that network can be leveraged to influence certain individuals to ultimately achieve the right result. So there's a huge uplift in it, if you like, and ultimately the companies who do that well, who truly apply the analytics and the science to their marketing, will succeed.
We've been talking for many years about the patient, but really in the last year or two we've started to see a lot more people talk about more practical solutions concerning what exactly they're doing around the patient. How's that going to impact the sort of work that we've been talking about?
Well, obviously, patient engagement is very important, and they play an increasingly big role in the entire interaction. It's easy for physicians to deny that they have any influence, but the reality is there. They do play part of this entire influencing network, if you like. It's important for the industry as well. You saw Jane's speech yesterday focusing on that. It is important that the industry gets a better reputation, and patient engagement is important just from that aspect alone. So I think we'll see a huge increase in patient engagement, but also hooking it back into the B2B interaction, if you like, that life science is executing with their customers.
Well, that's the part that I'm particularly interested in. I want to understand on a practical level how patient insight, how understanding and sort of almost being with that patient upon their journey actually feeds back, through the doctor back to the pharma company.
So I think a very practical example here is how social media and patient engagement can be used to understand what's happening with certain patient groups and actually feeding that back to the doctors. So there may be, say it's a new vaccine that's come out, it's raised particular concerns, and you see a top 10 of topics that's being discussed in social media with patient groups. taking that data and feeding it back, for instance, through the multi-channel platform to the physician to first educate them on what's happening with their patient groups, and secondly, perhaps from a services perspective, provide simple patient information leaflet they can then use when they're dealing with their patient. Very simple, very practical example, but this is how pharma could leverage what's happening out there and bring it back into the B2B interaction. And of course there are many examples like that, but this is a very practical one.
Now you've been in your career involved in a lot of companies that are very close to some cutting edge technology. Mm-hmm. How can pharma companies be leveraging technology better? I mean, it's not that digital is a new topic anymore, but at the same time we can see a huge gulf between how pharma's using things and how other industries are.
Yeah.
If you were running a pharma company tomorrow, what sort of immediate things would you seize upon that most companies are not at the moment?
Most companies are not seizing upon the solutions that are out there, like our Veeva solution, that have channels and content and data pre-integrated. Best of breed, integrated best of breed that's been out there as an approach is generally not being done well, not adopted well by the industry. And what we're seeing now is with the increase in pace of development of individual channels and technologies, they're finding it very difficult now to keep that landscape up to date. So going for solutions that are pre-integrated, where all the channels, at least all the main channels, are embedded, for instance, within the CRM solution, with a content engine that can easily serve all of those channels in a very rapid way, but also in a very compliant way. It has got to be the way forward. And if I were in that position, that's where I would go. I wouldn't want technology to be in the way of what I need to achieve from a business perspective. I would want to focus on that and not have to worry about the technology component. And that's what we've seen as well with the uptake in terms of cloud. We now have business buyers instead of IT buyers for solutions like this, because there's not much involvement that's required, and they can simply switch it on and run with it.
So final question, Jan, let's just go back to the technology angle that you're familiar with, and what is exciting you about the future role of technology? Is there anything that you can see on the horizon that looks like it could be a game changer in the future?
There are things out there that are game changing in terms of the ability to search information that can be used when it comes to treating patients, and the speed at which that can be done. So there are things happening around bringing in the supercomputer, if you like, into the GP's practice to help with the diagnosis. Some very exciting developments happening in that space, but bringing it slightly more nearer term. I think the ability to truly understand the customer and truly understand the network that customer operates within, with all of its nuances, and ability to then take that further and add additional information sources to that and analysis to drive interactions, is what's exciting me in the nearer future.
Thank you very much, Jan, for talking to me today.
You're welcome.